the unsolved murder mystery of Elizabeth Short that still haunts Los Angeles till date. She was known as the Black Dahlia. What they found in an empty lot still haunts Los Angeles. In the quiet town of Hyde Park, Massachusetts, on the morning of July 29, 1994, a third daughter was born to Cleo and Phoebe Short. They named her Elizabeth, and she joined her sisters, Eleanor and Dorothy, in a small family home. The Shorts were a working-class family. Her father was skilled at building miniature golf courses, and her mother cared for the children and kept the household together. In the late 1920s, life in America was changing fast. The economic boom after World War I was giving way to the dark shadow of the Great Depression. And when the stock market collapsed in 1929, the ripple hit small towns just as hard as big cities. Cleo Short lost his work. The miniature golf craze dried up almost overnight, and with it went his income and pride. Money became scarce, arguments grew frequent, and the stress of keeping a roof over their heads took its toll. One morning, when Elizabeth was still very young, her father vanished. He left his car abandoned near a bridge, leading everyone to believe he had taken his own life. Phoebe was left to raise the children alone, on a bookkeeper's salary, working long hours to keep food on the table. Elizabeth's early years were shaped by the lessons of scarcity and resilience. From a young age, she was delicate in health. She suffered from bronchitis and mild asthma. The cold New England winters were harsh on her breathing, so doctors advised that she spend winters somewhere warmer. And in her early teens, she was sent to stay with family friends in Miami, Florida for months. At a time there, she found a love for the sun, the open skies, and the lighter mood of a place untouched by snow. These early seasonal migrations planted in her a desire to someday live where the weather was always kind to her lungs and her spirit. As she grew into her teenage years, she became striking. Her skin was pale, almost porcelain, her hair a deep shade of brown, her eyes an unusual green that seemed to shift in the light. She was quiet, but had a certain grace about. Her neighbors said she walked as though she knew. Eyes were on her, not in vanity, but in some quiet awareness. She began to dream about life beyond the confines of Hyde Park, perhaps in the movies, perhaps in some faraway city, where she could reinvent herself. Later on, a letter arrived that would change everything about Cleo Short. Her father, the man presumed dead, was alive. He had been living in California, working in the shipyards of San Francisco. The letter was not an apology. It was more of a statement that he was still in the world and making a life for himself without his family. The revelation hit Elizabeth in ways she didn't express outwardly.